All right, I was trying to prepare the live stream. My hair is just like, meh. All right, I was trying to prepare the live stream. My hair is just like, meh. All right, I was trying to prepare the live stream. My hair is just like, meh. All right, the live stream. My hair is just like, meh. All right. This is so funny and or sad because like I've just lost it. I don't know where it went. There it is. Hi. I don't know. I think YouTube's record. It's on YouTube. It's streaming on YouTube. It's unlisted. I'm going to hope. It says it is. It says it's like that I'm hosting this on YouTube. So here's round two. Anyway, so instead of bombarding people with live videos, I don't have a filter on. I have no idea why my background looks like that, but it's really making me mad. Let me see if I can get the share screen chat. Unmute themselves. Start. Record requests. Yeah, I'm gonna hit record on my computer too while I'm at it. But I'm feeling that my daughter's about to be kicked down here. Anyway, I'm hoping that I can fix this because like this whole thing behind me is just not appropriate. I don't like it. Oh, look at that. Enable smart recording with AI companion. Yeah. Okay, so apparently this doesn't. Oh, well, that's interesting to know. I didn't realize that this didn't actually automatically start recording, even though I've spent the past 3 hours. I cannot stand this freaking view. It's driving me crazy. Hold on. I've got to fix this because I cannot. Hold on now. Because this is like, I can't. No, I can't. I can't do this. So, video. All right. Original mirror video. Okay, that's all of that is fun. Is it this? Is it that? It was the portrait lighting the whole time. It's been the portrait lighting. Anyway, I'm gonna hope that was enough. Or I'm gonna hope that helps. So hi. Let me try and start over. I really wish I would have worn a shirt that wasn't like, you know, all stretched out. Kind of happens because I'm lazy and I don't like to take my glasses off in the morning when I'm changing. And so there's that. Got all my hair cut off too. So this is kind of like an introduction to your host for the podcast, because as much as people think or want to hope that I'm not actually going to follow through with it, 100% following through with it. Thing is, my daughter, whom drove me absolutely insane, wanting to go to gymnastics camp, she decided last week, not doing it. I'm like, so we got 3 weeks in, maybe 2 weeks in. So last week was our I refer to it as the feral 5-year-old summer camp, where I attempt to actually work and do everything all at once. Meanwhile, my toddler is like right next to me and yelling and demanding I do all the things. And that's okay. And no, nothing has changed. I still do this. I still work. I still work while I'm doing these. So, introduction to the host of your podcast. Hi, it's me, Lauren Taylor, again. better known as like, hold on, let me do something real quick. I think I just did. See, that's what was wrong. My all y'all shirt. I realize it's July 1st and I'm a little late because I know that Pride Month is in June. But regardless, see, I'm wearing my all y'all shirt from Bitter Southerner, whom I am going broke to because their merch is amazing. Their newest one of their my new shirts that I got from them, by the way, sidebar, is reading is not a crime. And then the one that should be shipping and arriving hopefully any day this week is called Tawanda. And if you're not from the South, you probably don't know what it is, or if you've never watched something like Fried Green Tomatoes, you're definitely not going to know what it is. But it was hands down like the epitome of like Southern culture, or Southern culture for women. Between that and Still Magnolias, it's just like, I think it's like required watching for a lot of women, and especially women in the South that have been raised by very stubborn women. Um, Still Magnolias would be that one, but the other one, Fried Green Tomatoes, same vibe, except it's also about finding your voice, like as a wife and a mom. And you're just kind of like, when you're going through the movie, you're living vicariously one character. And I don't need them. Just go watch it. So, hi, how you doing? Haven't done these in a while. Kind of went off the radar. Wanted to stay off the radar. Went back and forth deciding if I wanted to come back or not. Then I was just kind of like watching the landscape of all the things going on. And so that's why I decided, I've got like hours upon, I've got like day, I'm not even gonna say hours. I've got like 3 years worth of content I can upload for a podcast. Now, I've tried it, which is why I haven't been consistently posting, is because the 3 items that I uploaded took days out of my life that I'll never get back because I had to edit absolutely everything. I don't have like anybody doing this stuff for me. I'm doing all of it by myself. Fortunately for me, I'm tech savvy. Um, I also have a husband who knows how to get everything working. And so I definitely was relying on him on some of the stuff, but like I kept going through all of these apps and on my iPad and on my MacBook, and I finally just got to the point where I was like, I'm done. I'm just gonna publish it as is, and people can just like kiss my butt because I didn't have like a separate audio file. I didn't have a transcript and any of the things that you're used to seeing on podcasts. But you know what? To that, I say I don't really care. Sorry, but not sorry. I am a mom first and foremost, and I'm a wife, and I have a job in corporate America. So, spending days upon days editing videos and uploading them to do this whole podcast thing, I'm not getting paid for any of that. So if I take my sweet time, I take my sweet time, and that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm hoping to make these more regular, which is why I'm doing one right now. And I'm not actually doing a live stream to Facebook because I've got shiny object syndrome. Everybody knows that. And everybody knows that I tend to fidget. And like at any given moment, one of my kids, or even anybody that lives in this house, they don't want to see me all day long. But as soon as I turn on like a video or they hear me talk, it's an automatic, oh, let's go see what Lauren's doing. And so they bomb all of these. And so I'm trying to kind of err on the side of like the podcast being a little bit more professional than my random pop-up Facebook lives. But I'm also trying to make sure that the podcast is still me, but I don't want to bombard people on my personal. So I've got, okay, you guys, this is ridiculous. I've got a personal page, like a personal Facebook, where I only post things that like I'm okay with family knowing. and or friends or people that I trust. And then I've got the public profile that I created just for giggle, like just honestly to see if it could like if I could like offload all of these people who kept trying to send me friend invites. I was trying to offload them over, and that worked. And then I've started this page up to host all of the content for the podcast. Now, I need to give credit to somebody really quick because, well, not just one person, but a slew of people. So I like it's. I'm not even going to get into the nitty gritty of it, but it's like a meet your host thing. So I think I'm just going to like keep it where it needs to be. So I will get. I'm going to give a big shout out to Heather Fleming, whom I met when I went to the Black Literacy Matters conference. And yeah, my hair is too flat. I'm so sorry, random. Anyway, I met Heather, and she gave me the biggest hug I've ever had in my life. Well, I sidebar her and Ashley. It's kind of like I don't know who gave me the better hug, but like they are both definitely like, oh my God, like I needed that hug type things. So when I went to the Black Literacy Matters conference, it was very off the cuff for me. And it was not planned out. It was like, okay, I need to go there. I need to, because the people that were speaking, I'm like, this is a roster of people that I want to see because these are amazing humans that advocate. They are activists. They go out of their way to give others like a voice and stuff like that. And so within doing that, I also finally got to meet all the moms like me, meaning the moms who are out here like, okay, now I'm gonna sue you if you do that to that kid one more time, or if you mess with my child one more time. So I got to meet all those moms too. Which was to me the most fulfilling part was that I got to like I kept telling Clarice, I got to meet my people because I did. And it was so nice to be able to meet other moms like me because at other conferences, or any of my like or any of the professional development stuff I was doing, I don't really get to meet moms. There's not a lot of moms. It's not really the groundwork for moms. And I'm not gonna take pot shots at them. There's a time and a place for moms and a time and a place for professional development, things like that. So at the other events I do, it's typically not mom, or it's not aimed at people that go out there and I guess what's the way I put it? It's not like that. The target audience isn't a mom like me. And if she sees it, if y'all see it, don't take offense to that because you know that you have stakeholders and you have admins and all the people in there. And that's why I'm saying that. So hush, don't even get mad. So let's see here. I really should have had like an agenda. Should have like note card or something to kind of guide me through this. But so what to say? Okay, so I am going on 45 years old. I have now, I think I'm like a year into my ADHD diagnosis, medicated. And life isn't spiraling out of control all the time. I've been able to get rid of a lot of toxic baggage in my life, and I'm not going to go any further than that because, quite frankly, it's tacky and it just distracts from everything else. But I do want to make sure that I clarify just because. Right, so it is 100% possible to call a spade and say what you want to say and then still keep it on the kids. So if I see somebody doing something that I know is wrong, if I hear somebody saying something that is wholly inaccurate and not true, situations like that are 100% within my scope and my realm of like, yeah, no, I'm gonna keep this on the kids, but I'm also gonna check you because that is not appropriate. So that's where this whole podcast idea came from. even though the whole market, this whole arena is saturated with podcasts, there's not really any podcasts out there where there's like a me. I don't know. It's funny because there's some podcasts out there, and it's like you have podcasts from teachers, you have podcasts from former teachers, you have podcasts from wealthy individuals whom can bankroll anything. You have you've got podcasts from everybody, but you don't actually have a podcast from a normal. I'm not going to call myself normal. There's not really a podcast out there for mom and designed for moms who are like working, trying to raise their kids, trying to make sure their kids are getting the education that they are supposed to be getting. Meaning, if you have a dyslexic kid, they deserve to be taught to read. If you have a struggling reader, same thing. So there's not really that landscape out there. And then there's also this, in the event that there's a whole bunch of bless your heart out there. And I'm not a bless your heart person. I'm somebody that goes out and I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me just go fix this right now. Um, my nickname is the Fixer now, so I earned that I think last week. With some other nicknames. Because if I see something that I know is wrong and I'm working with somebody or that's a friend and I'm going, you've been doing this for how, what, hold on, let me fix this for you. And then it takes me 10 minutes. They're like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah. So I'm not really like a normal mom in that aspect, but a lot of it has to do, like I said, or I've said numerous times, a lot of it has to do with the fact that like I'm an over analytical person. I'm a programmer. I have been working in corporate America for a long time, like as a financial analyst, analyst, you name it. And then what else? Oh, my past background was working with entertainers. So I used to be a freelance production assistant. And I was a freelance promoter, every venue in the state of Georgia. I worked for all of the venues. So I get to work with a lot of really cool people, and a lot of entertainers who had ridiculous asks. Um, so I think I kind of get my tenacity from that because like you have to learn how to bob and weave and solve things like on the fly when you're working with entertainers because like there is no middle ground with them. Um, so sorry, I was reading email. Um, but that's me. Um, my son, y'all, my son is turning 15 in August right now. He's currently serving as a camp counselor with some of my favorite humans. And I'm going to keep it a little personal. I don't want to invade my son's everything on this, even though my son's wholeheartedly like, Mom, you need a podcast. Mom, he's like on board with this, but he was gonna be in this, but he decided that he likes tech after all. So he has been working at this camp that is designed for dysgraphic and dyslexic children, because it's at a school designed for said dyslexic and dysgraphic kids. And he's had a really good time to the point that now he wants a 3D printer. I'm like, oh, there's the new hobby, a 3D printer. And it happens to match like the same energy of my husband. He's like, a 3D printer. I'm like, simmer down. We don't need a 3D printer. He's like, no, we really need it. And so my husband's like already got an area like created to make sure that they can have their toys and stuff. I'm like, um, as you can tell, if you've seen any of my videos in the past, all of this in the background is completely different. And that's because I moved my office and now I regret moving my office and I really want my other one back because I moved my office into like this gigantic room. It's my daughter's playroom. I was like, yeah, this will be great. This will be great. Like I can work and I can take care of, like I can watch out and make sure she's okay. She had a lot of health problems last year because she's got asthma. Um, Dumbest decision I've ever made because like I can't walk through the room to get to my office without seeing like this god awful mess. And like if you've ever seen anything, my daughter is just like she's a hot mess and she likes to just destroy everything. So there's that. And then the other big news is that my son, based off of his, let's say based off of the reception that he's had at this lovely, amazing unicorn of a school, um, he, he and I were already tinkering with him starting high school in a brick and mortar setting. I was going to have him out here where his sister goes, but the unicorn school that I wanted him to be in since they opened, um, that's where he'll be going because they just go out of their way. Like the one of the owners or one of the founders is a mom. I mean, so what better school to send my kid, right? Just a school that was opened by moms of dyslexic kids whom are like level one on the spectrum as well. But like, and they're like Orton Gillingham practitioners. They are over here working with the middles, meaning the 6th to 12th grade kids. My son was essentially like the guinea pig to make sure that they could work out the kinks. And so my son's processing skills and his dysgraphia is essentially like non-existent now. Um, all the other stuff is glaringly still there, but his reading, his writing, his processing, his executive functioning, all of that has just worked itself out. And it's not because it was easy. Now, he did spend the last 2 years, he's been in homeschool. We had to make a decision and we had to make one quickly. And that's where we went. Um, so so for 2 years he's been at home. He's been working extremely hard. He is just like bam, 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 bam. To the point that the lovely mommy, one of the lovely moms that started this school, she was like, I can't do anything else. Like he the mechanics of writing, like the grammar and stuff like I can't, no, that's not my thing. But like as far as his processing to get this on the paper, like he's done. And I knew it. I'd already known it. I've been watching it. So he's able to do amazing things that we have historically, as moms of dyslexic and dysgraphic children, are told won't do. We are always told like they're always going to rely on assistive technology and they're always going to need autocorrect. And at my core, that broke me because the only thing that my son has asked for this entire journey within the K through 12 environment has been the ability to someone to teach him to handwrite legibly, someone to teach him to spell, and that's it. The third ask was that somebody taught him how, or somebody got all the thoughts on the paper. Those are his words. Because he had a really hard time understanding. Like he's like, Mom, I understand all the content. I can tell you everything about the book I just read, but like, why can't I put it on paper? Like, I don't. What is blocking that? And I was like, yeah, that's your dysgraphia. That's your processing. And so yeah, his only asks they were simple asks, and it took me bringing him to homeschool um for him to accomplish those things. So my child has been working his butt off to learn how to write legibly. He has his own signature. He has his own style of penmanship. He's got his own style of like what I like to call print and cursive. He just took that initiative on, and so he and I just like we have fun with our letters now. But he's also branched out into his artwork a lot, and his art is coming back into the realm of absolutely amazing. Which these are all things that people kind of like don't really pay attention to with their kids. And I'm not bashing anybody, but with my son, whenever I see him becoming extremely creative again, and his art starts getting up there again, and his interest is peaked, and he's out here like, okay, he gets back into googling the random things that aren't normal. um that's when I know that like he's kind of erring on the side of like, I'm good, I got this. And with him being almost 15 years old, he and I have had a lot of time, again, 2 years at home. We've had a lot of time to talk. I learned a lot about my son, and he gave me a very important lesson about, I don't even know, it was recent, but he was like, Mom, I don't remember what happened to me in school. And I'm based off of everything that you've said, I'm really happy. I don't remember what they did to me. But that doesn't mean you need to allow that to live, and they can't live rent free in your head anymore because you're still traumatized by it. And I'm over here like, I don't remember any of it. It's like, oh, he's like, yeah, so I just want my mom. Like, I'm okay. I'm safe. I made it. He's like, yeah, like I said what I said, but I made it. I'm happy. And I like being around people again. I like being around you guys again. I like to talk to you guys. I like to have like debates with you. I'm like, okay, it's not even debates. Like you're literally like coming at me, and I'm like, if you weren't my child, I would like make you puppy chow right now. Um, so good luck at school, by the way, to the individual whom I'm not going to name because she's going to have her hands full with that one. Um, so a lot of really good things have happened in the past 2 years, and I don't want this to be a podcast built on like the insanity that we've endured. I mean, there's like a whole part of our life that people don't even know about. And I wasn't able to talk about it in the past because of the now non-existent non-disclosure agreement. Because the district, I essentially I went back and I sued the district because they violated my NDA, and I was like, look, you 2 months into it, you violated it, so there's that. And they kept saying no, 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 and then my attorney was like, Lauren, go Google this, and I was like, well, it's like literally 3 words. I was like, so I went and I Googled it, and it was like a clause that stated that if you had a non-disclosure agreement with monetary anything, or just a non-disclosure agreement, your personal identifiable information should not be made public for auditing purposes or any of the excuses that we kept getting from the district. I'm like, uh-uh. I'm like, that doesn't apply. There were very specific rules in there. And furthermore, your non-disclosure agreement said I would have to do stuff for you and not, it doesn't matter. Y'all are out here acting like y'all don't got to do anything with me. That's not how it's going to work. So it got to the point that like my attorney got so annoyed, he dragged them to federal court. And so the way it works now is I can only speak on factual things, which, a lot of their stuff is public anyway. So it's really easy to just kind of get around it. But nonetheless, there was a lot of our story we couldn't share because a lot of that was on lockdown. A lot of that was embedded in the NDA, or at least that's what they had me believing. And then my attorney, not my first one, my second one, and he is the, what are they doing here at work? Anyway, he's the second attorney that I have and that I work with, and he's the one that comes along with me. So in the event that I'm advocating for anybody, and I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I see where this is going right now, and we're done. Because if you threaten my parent one more time, mm-mm. So he is an amazing human, but at the same time, that poor man, I swear to God, he cannot get out of the weeds because all these school districts did with the money they were given was hire lawyers and refuse to do their job. So he's been like suing school districts left and right. Anyway, so he explained to me with my original NDA, Lauren, you're not on a gag order. I'm like, yes, I am. He's like, technically, yes, but at the same time, you did a really good job of leaving a paper trail prior to signing this. So anything in print or anything in the media, you're free to speak on. I was like, oh, he's like, they can't do anything about that because that was stuff that you'd already had published. It was all in the media. You'd already been doing outreach events. You're fine. I was like, oh, God, I've been like holding my breath for 2 years, thinking that like, oh, this was, back then. But I was like, I've been holding my breath this entire time, thinking that I couldn't talk, and I could. And then the non-disclosure agreement I have now is essentially I'm not allowed to go back and say nasty things and or sue for certain individuals within my former district from like the time the NDA was agreed upon. Which again, I didn't actually sign, so I don't even know if I have to hold true to that because I think my attorney still has that page. I think Michael, yeah, he definitely still has that because I never had anything sent my way. Furthermore, they came to me and asked me how to hide my personally identifiable information in their finances. And then I got a lot of my friends upset in the district because I was like, you just have to like this column. Just all you have to do is remove my name. Like remove like the reason and the who, what, when, where, and you're good. And these idiots went out and they nuked the whole column, but they didn't realize that when we open it in the Excel file, all I had to do was hit unhide. So that was also funny. And then they had to go out there and come into compliance with some stuff because of some auditing and because of my lawsuit. So they nuked the column altogether. And then my friends, good God. Anyway, then all my friends in the district who historically go to their finances and like they start digging and looking. I used to do that all the time. I'm not really a big fan of doing that anymore with them. So they got mad. They're like, Lauren, that column's gone. I was like, oh yeah, that. I'm sorry, that was me. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah. So it's like I didn't know that they were actually going to be dumb enough to remove the entire column. I said they just needed to, redact like personally identifiable information, not only from me, but from like numerous parents. Their information has been in there historically, like since I was like, I was able to map it back to like 2017. I'm like, they've been out here letting everybody know everyone's put business for years. So the district, nuked the column. They've just now figured out how to bring it back. They just now realized, oh, wait, we can't put their information out there. We made them sign something. So that's an interesting juxtapose, but again, that's like why there's a lot of our story that's not even made its way out out there. And quite honestly, based on the reaction that I got from when I kind of had my little meltdown. It wasn't a meltdown. It was more like, oh, okay, you want to go there? Let's go there. So, based off the reaction of me, essentially, my new headshot is of me in like a tank top and all my tattoos show being like full display. That was kind of me rebranding like what I do, and that I'm not just an advocate. Like I'm an activist. Always been an activist. I'm an advocate, but I'm not just an advocate for dyslexic kids. I became an advocate because I had to, but it's more because the activism and the advocating that I do ties back to friends that I've lost along the way. A lot of my friends, I've also come to realize in this like weird space that I've been in where I'm like, I don't want to show my face. I've also realized that I don't like, or it's not that I don't like, I've also realized that I was drawn to a very certain group of people. And for a long time, I was like, Jesus Christ, can I not meet normal people? Like, what's wrong with me? Like everybody I know that I've known for like 25 plus years, they're all addicted to drugs. They've spent more years in prison than they've out of prison. Their kids don't even know them. And then like, but I realized in this quiet time, I was drawn to them based off of the based off of life as a sibling to a dyslexic. So to me, I saw them as normal. To me, I saw them as the kids that needed somebody. They needed somebody to help. And so I kept my phone on till, like I would go pick them up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I did that for years. My husband was finally like, no, we're done. We're done. It's like, you have spent 20 something years trying to prevent the train wreck that was going to inevitably happen. And it's happened over and over and over again. And it drains the life out of you. It's like, so this has got to stop. And as much as I did not want to walk away from my friends, I had to. And it's a very hard thing for me to say out loud. Like I literally want to cry every time I talk about that because like I'm still convinced to this day that even though I know it's not true, even though I know had they not made these decisions, even though I'm not the one that put the needle in their arm or any of that stuff, like I'm still convinced to this day, had I not walked away from them, they'd still be here. And there wouldn't have orphan kids asking me questions about them. But that's always the guilt that I have with me. And that's why I advocate. And that's why so I advocate and that's why I'm an activist. And it's not even allocated to just like dyslexia. Like my house was a safe haven when I was younger in high school. And even before that in middle school, like our house was always the house that my mom and my dad wanted kids to be able to come to because they didn't like the fact that their parents were throwing them away just because they got in trouble. Because Lord knows I got in trouble. So they we had an open door policy at my house, and at any given time, anybody could be there, which is why I've always been very, very vocal about mind your business. If you have a problem with somebody's lifestyle, don't bring it around me because I'm going to clap at you really quick. Because a majority of my friends, when I was in high school, were gay. And I lived in rural Georgia. And so nobody was having anything to do with them. Like they got outright tortured in school. And their parents, except for one, their parents were also absolutely horrid. Like one of my friends, he was just like, his parents were like a psychologist and a psychiatrist. So he was like getting hammered like with therapy and like they were putting him on every kind of drug possible to prevent him from being him. And then, at 18 years old, he was like, yeah, bye, peace out. And, yeah, he's gay. No, really? Yeah, we all knew he was gay. But that's just the thing is like, when I say I'm an advocate and activist, I truly mean that for everybody. So if you have a problem with a subset or if you have a problem with something, do yourself a favor. I can have civil discourse all day long. God knows, like all the elected officials, I should have no access to, know where I stand. But I also know where they stand. But at the end of the day, we both know that's our business. All we care about is making sure kids get what they need. That's it. And that's what I've kept it on. That's what we've kept it on. I've got, I do still have access to all of the people I had access to. I did tip out of the I'm not really, again, not going to go in the details. I dipped out of the space of helping all these nonprofits here in Georgia. I assist with other endeavors and they're scattered across the country. Because quite frankly, I don't feel like I owe the state of Georgia anything else. And I don't owe anybody in the state of Georgia anything else because I've been doing, and I'm not bragging, by the way, or boasting. I've been doing this for 10 years, and we have legislation on the books. We've got a lot of legislation on the books. We have senators out here, Republican senators out here now going, I hate the word local control. You assholes use it. You a-holes use it against people. I'm like, hi, welcome to our world. We've been trying to tell you this. By the way, can you please go get Chris Carr to sue the Georgia Department of Education now? That'd be great. So we have these senators out there. Like I've still got access to all these amazing humans, and they're determined to get this whole thing right. And you know what? I don't charge them anything. If they need something, they know they can come to me. And I may be, filtering information to them like I've always done. Thing is, when I worked for all these nonprofits, or when I was like lending my efforts to help, I was the person behind the scenes that was like filtering information and all the data. And I was like the fixer, and I was like the one making sure I could either get somebody's attention so we could like do what we needed to do, or I was dragging them to publicly shame them into doing the right thing. I didn't stop doing that. I didn't. I just didn't attach it to any. I didn't lend an assist to anybody. I was like, you can figure this out. All right. This is like the third legislation session for you guys. You can figure it out. If you haven't figured it out by now, like then just we need to stop talking, because what was that? Oh, that was like an onslaught of emails. Jesus Christ. You hear that? I don't know why all my emails just came in like that. Is that a bad thing? I guess we're gonna find out. Anyway, so I don't limit my efforts to those individuals. I am helping others, and I frankly, it's just honestly, it's because I'm tapped out. I'm tired. Georgia is just gonna be Georgia, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And we got too many people here fighting over egos, clicks, likes, and shares. And I'm like, have it. You can have it. I don't want it. I don't want a proclamation saying, oh my God, you did all these things for the children in the state of Georgia, when you know damn well all these other moms were the ones giving you all that information. Yes, ma'am, you know who I'm talking about. That was petty. I'm so sorry. I might edit that out, or I might not. Also, I do have to pivot to this, and then I'm going to jump off because this is already too long. Another reason I'm doing this is because I have a fundamental issue with journalists out there watching our lives on display, which is a train wreck. But we're, as moms of kids with disabilities, we are lonely. We don't have friends. We don't have a tribe. We don't know people, because it doesn't make sense to anybody other than us. And so it's hard for us to find people. And then when we find those people, 9 times out of 10, or at least in my experience, 9 times out of 10, they end up disappointing us and screwing us ever worse. And we're like, oh my God, I'm a grown ass adult, and I feel like I'm an 8-year-old again. I feel like I feel like I'm in middle school, and it's Mean Girls all over again. I'm like, well, did you women not get the memo to grow up? Did you not get the memo that you're not supposed to treat people a certain kind of way and use them? And so there's that too. But there's that, but there's this weird juxtapose of like, we always put everything out in the open for everyone. Journalists have been preying on that, and they've been monetizing off of that, and they've been just doing all of these things off of things that they don't even talk about on a day. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to engage with somebody whom shall remain nameless. I have tried to engage with this individual and ask, why is it frowned upon? Why is it frowned upon to talk about what goes on in the day of the life of a dyslexic kid? Why is it frowned upon to talk about their mental health? Why is it frowned upon to talk about the statistics? Why? With all of the resources and all of the money, everything you have at your disposal, why won't you talk to kids, or the teenagers at least, that are willing to talk? And the moms, why won't you talk to us? Why won't you do a podcast about that? Why won't you write about that? Because you like to pluck everything out of our lives that we put on display for free. You like to take all the other stuff. But this is too taboo. This is taboo. When we're out here spending billions on mental health because of COVID, our kids still get shafted, and we still don't get to explain to people that we are constantly going to sleep at night wondering if we're going to wake up to our kid alive or not. That's just the brutal, honest truth. So it's another reason for this is that I know a lot of moms that need to have that conversation, or that they need to. Let me take that back. I know a lot of moms who need a platform. And I know a lot of moms who are traumatized still to this day, either from fighting for the kids or because they too were dyslexic and now they're raising dyslexic children, and they see the landscape and they're like, holy hell, nobody cares about us. I'm like, yeah, welcome to my life. That's been 10 years of people putting their head in the sand, acting like it doesn't exist. They're like, they don't care. They don't care. I thought like they don't even want to talk to me. And I'm like, I know. And that's something that I'm working on. I'm trying to make sure I give them space because they need it. They need it. Dyslexic adults raising dyslexic children historically don't have a voice. And it's gross, quite frankly. It's very gross. Or the whole literacy community should be smacked for that, by the way. So because you guys just screw them over. Like it's like they're just fodder. Like, oh well, we'll talk about your kid, but screw you. I'm like, no. So that's another thing that we'll be talking about on this. And I will be hopefully interviewing dyslexic mamas that I know personally. And I'm really gonna hope that I get my sister maybe once. Maybe. I doubt it, but I'm gonna try really, really hard because my sister is still out here living her best life and she refuses to talk about anything. And I'm like, no. Meanwhile, my son's over here like, why does he like, I'm not gonna say no. Why does she not talk about this? Furthermore, why does she think she has to have a diagnosis to know that she's always been dyslexic? I'm like, don't even get into it. It's not worth it. So that's that. There's my introduction to random people out there. So now I'm gonna go back to work and edit this and upload it. So let me come over here. I have to do, there's all these buttons. So thanks for tuning in, and hopefully I do this right. Okay.